Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're digging into a story that really gets under your skin. It starts simple enough, a childhood sleepover, but it spirals into, well, a nightmare. We've got this incredible first-person account. It really pulls you in, and also a great online discussion where people try to piece it all together.
Yeah, and it's fascinating because this isn't just about, a monster. It's about how something seemingly normal, like a sleepover, uncovers this deep, dark family secret, a terror spanning generations. And it really forces you to look at what happens when survival instincts kick in, exposing some uh, pretty desperate human choices.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack all of that, pull out the key moments, the creepy details, and maybe find those aha moments hiding in the story. Let's start with the invitation itself. Our narrator, let's call him Liam, he mentions being friends with Leo for 13 years. 13 years. But this is the first time he's ever been invited for a sleepover.
Straight away, that feels off, doesn't it?
But
13 years is a long time in kid friendship terms. Why now?
Right. And Liam notes how Leo's parents were almost rushing the words when they mentioned they were going out. He feels something's not quite right, even then.
And then there's the house. The description is fantastic. A great white clapboard house. Feels like it's been there forever. Very imposing.
Yeah, imposing is a good word. Guarded by these old oaks.
But it's the smell that really gets you. Old wood and polish. Okay, that's normal for an old house.
Yeah.
But then something more besides. A smell like turned earth after a rain.
Ugh, yeah. That's unsettling. Not just musty, but earthy. Like something's wrong deep down.
It's classic horror technique, isn't it? Using senses like smell to create unease before anything actually happens. That wrongness is baked into the setting.
And the parents themselves add to it. The mom, with her frantic smile that did not touch her eyes, constantly moving that nervous energy.
Well, the dad is the opposite. Big guy, dark and still eyes, doesn't say a word. Super unnerving contrast.
Liam even catches the mom whispering to the dad, urgent and low, just before they leave, like a last-minute instruction or something.
It all feels very staged, doesn't it? Like they're playing roles, but not very convincingly.
Totally. And then you get this little detail about Leo's room. It's described as a small island of the ordinary.
Which is such a great contrast. It's the only place that did not feel as if it belonged to the dead.
Whoa. That phrase right there tells you a lot. It implies the rest of the house does feel like it belongs to the dead.
Exactly. It reinforces that the house itself is the problem, not just, haunted, but fundamentally wrong.
So, okay, the parents leave. The boys start doing normal sleepover stuff. Pizza, video games, the usual. For a minute, you almost relax.
Almost. Because then, just before 9 o'clock, Leo drops the bombshell.
The weird rule. After 9 p.m. sharp, they have to stay in the bedroom, door closed, until sunrise.
No leaving the room, for any reason.
Not even for the bathroom. And that detail, the empty bottle on his desk for,
Yeah, that's when Liam's laugh died in his throat. Suddenly, it's not funny anymore. It's deeply disturbing.
And look at Leo when he explains it. He won't make eye contact. His voice is flat, trying for forced calm.
You can practically see the tension, the cording in his neck, and his excuse. Security, the house being drafty. It's described as a counterfeit shrug.
It's so obviously a lie, a bad one. He's terrified.
He knows exactly what's going on. This isn't just him following weird parental rules. He's bracing himself.
Then the clock starts chiming 9, and Leo doesn't wait. On his feet before the 9th bell.
Right, sliding that heavy bolt of steel into its housing. And the sound is described as final.
That sound seals them in, and the whole atmosphere changes, doesn't it? The quiet isn't normal anymore.
No, it becomes a listening quiet. A waiting quiet. You feel it too, reading it. The house is holding its breath, waiting.
And after about an hour of that awful quiet, the sounds begin. Downstairs.
Starts subtle, a soft and measured thumping.
Leo tries to brush it off. House settling. But, and Liam knows it's not that.
Because it escalates quickly. It becomes a dragging sound, a scraping of some great weight across the wood floor.
Yeah, that's not settling. That's something moving. Something big.
It's a clear sign of presence. Not just creaks and groans, but deliberate movement. The entity is active.
And then comes the voice, perfectly mimicking Leo's mother.
Offering warm cookies, asking them to open the door.
Oh, that's just chilling. Using the image of motherly comfort as bait.
It's described as having terrible perfection, like a memory of a voice and not the voice itself. It's uncanny, designed specifically to lure you.
Psychological warfare. It's not just trying to scare them, it's trying to trick them.
Exactly. Undermining that fundamental trust in a caregiver's voice.
Then the sounds at the door change, become physical, a soft and wet sound. as if a piece of meat were striking the wood.
Gross. And then the voice drops the act entirely,
Ah.
becomes hard and ragged.
Open the door! Just raw demand.
And then a great blow hits the door. The frame groans. The voice changes again.
Into a ruin, a low and guttural thing, growling, Iknowyoureintere. Spelled out like that, emphasizing the dread.
The pretense is completely gone now. It's a pure menace.
And then the ooze. A black and viscous fluid began to seep into the room from under the door.
Accompanied by the smell, the grave, of wet soil and of things that rot in the earth.
It's a multi-sensory assault. The sound, the physical force, the visual of the ooze, the smell.
Yeah, the entity is asserting its presence in every way possible, making the threat undeniable.
And what's Leo doing through all this?
He just retreats, pulls the blankets over his head, becomes a small and shuddering shade, goes into his own darkness.
He's seen this before, hasn't he? Or versions of it. He knows there's nothing he can do.
That's the feeling you get. Complete resignation. He's endured this maybe many times.
But Liam gets hit by that fool's curiosity. He decides to look through the keyhole.
A classic horror moment. You want to shout, "Don't do it," but you also need to know what's out there. It puts us right there with him, peering through that tiny hole.
And what he sees, it's not a person, not a man, nor was it a beast.
No, it's described as a thing that was built of sticks and of shadow, impossibly tall and thin, like something made of nightmares.
Limbs like a winter tree. Body a gyre of dust and night. And no face, only a void.
It's brilliantly vague and terrifying, an abstraction of fear rather than a concrete monster. Harder to process, harder to fight.
But the truly disturbing part is what it's wearing. Stolen items from the house?
Right. His mother's floral apron, his father's hunting cap.
And it's holding the family portrait in front of its void face, somehow wearing the mother's smile from the picture.
Ugh. It's assembling itself from their lives, their possessions. Literally consuming their identity. It's a violation on a whole other level.
And then the ultimate psychological blow.
It uses Liam's own mother's voice.
Promising to take him home, described as a sound of love and of poison.
That's just devastating. Twisting the most comforting sound imaginable into a weapon, preying on that deep need for safety.
And that's the moment it clicks for Liam. The bottle. Leo's weird rule.
It wasn't a joke. It wasn't just weirdness. It was a kindness, a tool for survival. Because Leo knew.
He knew all of it. And that leads to Leo's confession. Broken. Terrified.
He finally names it the Nightman. Says it's always been here. Tied to the family, the house. Built on unhallowed ground.
By his great-great-grandfather. And there's a bargain.
The family gets the house during the day. But from 9 until the dawn, the house was given over to that other.
A horrifying pact. But it gets worse. Leo explains the Nightman's nature.
It's lonely. It likes to play. It mimics people. Uses things it finds to try and make a body for itself.
Okay, that explains the apron and the cap. But then Leo adds the crucial part. It's getting bolder.
And it wants more.
Specifically, someone new.
And that's when all the pieces slam into place for Liam. The sudden invite after 13 years.
The fear in his parents' eyes, the whispers, the heavy bolt on this door.
He realizes he wasn't invited for a sleepover. He was invited as bait, as a sacrifice.
Leo brought him there for the Nightman.
And the parents, locked in their own room, listening, praying that the beast in the hall would choose me, Liam realizes.
God, that's cold. They were sacrificing a child, their son's friend, to save themselves.
Trying to buy more time. They're trapped, broken people, making a horrific choice out of desperation.
But then you have to wonder about Leo. Did he bring Liam there, fully intending him to be taken? Or was bolting the door his way of trying to protect him, maybe defying his parents' real plan?
That's a really interesting question. Was bolting the door part of the parents' plan, hoping the Nightman would just take Liam from the room? Or was Leo actually trying to give Liam a fighting chance, even if it meant this shared terror? It's ambiguous.
A different kind of hell, as Liam puts it. Okay, so the confession happens, the awful truth is out, and then the Nightman escalates again, dramatically.
Whispers stop. Silence. Then heavy footsteps on the stairs, and that dragging of a dead weight sound again. Coming up.
Liam says, it was not trying to trick us, the game was done.
Yeah, no more mimicry, no more psychological games, just brute force is coming for them.
And it attacks the door. Violently. A crack like thunder. The deadbolt is ripped away.
Leo's reaction tells you everything. It's never done this before. It's never tried to break the door down.
This is new. The rules, the patterns they're breaking down, the entity is forcing the issue.
And when it comes into the room, its form has changed again. It filled itself.
Made of the house itself now. A terrible congress of things stolen from the house. Floorboards, rusted pipes, stair banisters.
It's literally incorporating the structure around it, becoming the house. And the detail about Liam's own duffel bag pulsing inside it like some dark and foreign heart.
That's incredibly disturbing. It's consuming everything, making it part of itself, its connection to the house, and now its victims is becoming physical.
And its head. The grandfather clock from downstairs, the pendulum swinging like a wild and frantic eye.
Oh man, time itself is literally bearing down on them.
And its voice. Not one voice, but all of them. A discordant chorus speaking as one. A nightmare choir.
Declaring, TIMEISUP. Chills, just chills.
It's the ultimate declaration. The bargain, the game, whatever it was, is over.
But they don't just give up. Liam acts fast, throws a glass trophy. It hits the clock face.
Scatters it. Buys them a precious second.
They try the window painted shut, of course. Then they manage to barricade the door with the heavy oak bedstead. A desperate, temporary measure.
And in that moment of desperation, Leo remembers, or maybe finally understands, the crucial weakness. He gasps it out.
The sun. It has to be inside before the sun comes up.
The classic Achilles heel for creatures of the night. Suddenly, it's not about escape. It's about survival, endurance, making it till dawn.
Liam finds a high-powered flashlight, a modern weapon against an ancient darkness.
And it works. The light hits the creature, and it shrieked a sound of pure agony.
But it's weird. The light did not burn it, but seemed to unmake it from itself, like it was dissolving the stolen parts of a poison.
Fascinating weakness. Not fire, not silver, but light itself seems to disrupt its constructed form. Its connection to the darkness is absolute.
So begins the longest watch, Liam holding the flashlight beam on the creature, the batteries slowly dying.
A tense standoff. A stalemate between the light and the dark. Hours crawl by. The creature just waiting, knowing the light won't last.
And finally, the light flickers, starts to fail. The creature gathers itself, charges.
But right then, a pale gray line was drawn upon the black horizon. Dawn.
A single and pure ray of the morning sun hits the creature through the window.
And that's it. It just collapses. Crumbles into dust, pipes, banisters, the duffel bag. Just a pile of junk.
Simple things. And this thin layer of gray dust that smelled of the grave. The monster's gone. For now.
But the horror isn't over. Because then the parents arrive.
And their reaction is the final twist of the knife. Not relief, not joy that the kids are alive.
No, Liam sees only a deep and bottomless disappointment on their faces.
Because the plan failed. The sacrifice had not been made. Liam survived.
And the thing that was the house would be hungry when the sun fell again. They're still trapped. Their gambit didn't work.
And Liam's final thought just seals it. I was the one who got away, and for this they would never forgive me.
Wow, what an ending. It leaves you with this cold dread. The monster might be dust, but the human horror remains.
Absolutely. And looking at the community discussion around this story, people really latch on to that deal with the devil aspect.
Yeah, the whole idea of an inherited bargain, a generational curse, and the ethics of it. Why should the kids be bound by a deal made generations ago?
Right. People argue, shouldn't the entity be going after the ones who made the deal or failed to uphold it? Why punish the descendants?
It taps into those deep questions about fate, free will, and familial obligation, doesn't it?
And people had all sorts of ideas for how to fix it. Burn the house down. Move away.
Practical solutions, you'd think. But the narrator in the source material pushes back, calls the entity a parasite, says you can't remove the house from the house.
Suggesting it's not just in the house, it is the house, or tied to the land, maybe. And there are these unknown rules. Maybe they can't burn it down without consequences.
What if destroying the house breaks the covenant in a way that unleashes something worse, or follows them? That's the chilling possibility. They're trapped by rules they don't fully understand.
And what about the Nightman changing? Leo said it used to be just creaks and whispers. Now it's demanding sacrifices, breaking down doors.
Is the entity itself evolving, growing stronger or hungrier? Or did the family somehow weaken their end of the bargain over time, allowing it more power?
Maybe they got complacent. Or maybe the entity's demands just naturally escalate over centuries.
It leads to that unsettling thought the narrator has. Maybe the family never tried to run, or maybe they did and learned the hard way.
That the house or the entity simply owns them. A generational prison.
Yeah. And think about the psychological aftermath for Liam and Leo. Surviving that night is one thing.
But knowing your friend's parents were willing to sacrifice you and seeing their disappointment that you lived?
How do you recover from that? That betrayal cuts deeper than any monster's claws. It shatters your fundamental sense of safety and trust in the world.
So wrapping up this deep dive, we've seen a terrifying encounter with a unique entity, the Nightman, but also a story about a family's dark secret, desperate measures, and a friendship betrayed in the most horrific way.
It really highlights how these generational curses, these ancient bargains, they don't just affect the people who made the deal. The cost ripples down, twisting lives, forcing impossible choices.
It's a powerful, chilling narrative.
And it leaves you with a final unsettling thought. We talk about the cost of making deals with darkness, for power, for wealth. But what's the cost of just trying to survive within one? When the monster isn't just the thing in the hall, but also the desperation it breeds in the people around you. What choices would you make, knowing that every sunset brings